billion naira to 506 billion naira because of the recent havoc wreaked by flood on the road. Nigerians have been reassured of security in spite of threats of attacks. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance in Abuja. According to him, the country is safe as the security agencies were on top of the game and ready to handle any challenge. President Buhari also advised Nigerians to ignore the alarm raised by foreign nations such as the United States and the United Kingdom, which has been generating fears. Mr. President, who spoke on managing conflicts, sensitive information, also urged the executive to the executive and public and private organizations to have confidence and grant unhindered access to persons who manage their image. Also, believing that security plays vital roles in the developmental process of any nation, the men of the pen profession are being advised to always verify facts before dissemination to the people to guard against turbulence. The director of the Department of Security Services in Abia, Mr. Friday Onuche, gave the advice while addressing some journalists. He advised media practitioners against spreading fake news, which he said were capable of leading the country into disturbances, describing journalists as critical stakeholders. The President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, on Wednesday charged fellow Nigerians to take seriously the concerns of all Nigerians rather than marginalizing any of them. According to them, leaders are expected to lead in ways that the institutions will aid the citizens and make them to feel the leader's stewardship. The Senate President further said that the unity of the country was a collective responsibility, therefore, must be created and sustained by all. At home, Governor Dapo Abiodun says the state is ready to host the $800 million special agro-processing zone investment at the Agro-Cargo Airport in Ilesho. Governor Abiodun, who led this out on Wednesday in Abeokuta, said the project, which would be executed and financed by Arena Integrated Company, would be the biggest investment in Nigeria because it would provide jobs for over 15,000 people. He said by the turning of the third of the first phase of $400 million on Friday, by the construction of structures for the project the first week of December. According to him, the siting of the project is an indication of how viable the airport will be, on noting that the Nigerian Air Force, the Customs Service, and the multinationals and investors have indicated interest in the airport. Meanwhile, the governor has spoken of readiness to resuscitate the Gateway Hotel, OTA, reacting after the Ministry of Housing and related agencies presented their proposed estimate of the midweek Treasury Board meeting. Mr. Governor described this viable hotel as currently an eyesore, adding that it is urgent to address the dilapidation. Governor Abiodun, who expressed sadness over the abandonment of the hotel despite its strategic location, assured of the rehabilitation of the economic edifice as requested by the people of Utah during the town hall meeting. You are listening to the midday news on OGBC 90.5 FM. US President Joe Biden has warned that any candidate who refused to accept defeat in next week's midterm election would set the nation on the path of chaos. He also urged Americans to unite in opposition to political violence on the vote on the 8th of November. Mr. Biden, a Democrat, said former President Donald Trump and his supporters were peddling lies of conspiracy and malice. Republicans hit back that Mr. Biden was seeking to divide and deflect. Mr. Biden spoke on nationally televised remarks on Wednesday at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station, which is just a few streets from where Mr. Trump's supporters and stormed the U.S. Capitol last year in an attempt to overturn the result of the 2020 elections. Brazil's President, Mr. Jair Bolsonaro, has appealed to truckers protesting against Sunday's election results to clear the roads and protest elsewhere. Supporters of the far-right president have erected hundreds of roadblocks across the nation since it was announced that Mr. Bolsonaro's left-wing rival, Lula, won the election. Mr. Bolsonaro said blocking roads was not a part of legitimate protests, encouraging them to choose other ways of demonstrating. Many hardcore Bolsonaro supporters have refused to accept the result of Sunday's presidential runoff, which saw former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva narrowly winning with 50.9% of valid votes. Albania's Prime Minister, Mr. Edi Rama, has accused the UK of scapegoating his citizens to excuse its failed policies on borders and migration. It said that the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman's remarks this week that the UK was being invaded would fuel xenophobia. The Home Office said it was working closely with Albania to tackle illegal migration. Ms. Braverman, who said southern England was facing an invasion of migrants, also accused many Albanians of using and abusing the modern slavery laws. Albanians now represent the biggest group of those crossing the channel in small boats. The South Korean military says North Korea fired an intercontinental ballistic missile this Thursday, but it failed mid-flight. The ICBM launched is the Pyongyang 7th this year and comes amid concerns that it will soon test a nuclear weapon. It comes a day after the two Koreans fired missiles in an escalation of tension. That exchange saw the most number of missiles launched by the North in a single day. North Korea's multiple launches is reported as the US and South Korea stage their largest ever joint air drills, which Pyongyang has strongly criticized as aggressive and provocative. On sport, Anthony Joshua is confident that a British heavyweight clash with Tyson Fury will happen, but because they will do good business together. WBC champion Fury and former champion Joshua were in discussions over a December meeting. The talks broke down before Fury signed to fight Derek Chisora. After agreeing the Chisora fight, Fury and Joshua had missed his chance of Fury said Joshua had missed his chance of super fight between the pair, insisting that there will never be a fight again. Joshua meanwhile believes Fury will still be willing once negotiations resume again. Security is central to the country's development, contribute to ensuring a secured nation. To end the midday news and have a look at the major items. The Minister of Agriculture, Malam Mohammed Abubakar, midweek said that the federal government will continue to ensure that the effect of flooding on the people will minimized. The Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, said that the state is ready to host the $800 billion special agro-processing zone investment at the Agro-Cargo Airport in Elisha. You also heard that the U.S. President, Mr. Joe Biden, is in next week's midterm elections to embrace peace. The midday news was edited by Adeyinka Wahab and broadcast from OGBC Abeokuta.